people have been asking and looking really forward to part 2 of the Chandi pot. So let's continue forward with that. When you get to realization, you find out the only thing you needed to be liberated from was this thought drama that happens, okay? So let's continue forward. Om the Rishi said, after the death of that excessively forceful and evil thought, the great ego, and the destruction of his army of perturbations by the hand of the divine goddess, the rule of the pure, along with other divine ones, with their heads bowed in reverence, began to sing a hymn of praise to the Supreme Empress. Their beautiful bodies were filled with excessive delight and pleasurable excitement. Her intrinsic nature is the aggregate energy of all the gods. With her energy, she pervades the entire universe. She is the most highly regarded by all the gods and seers of sacred wisdom. To the Mother of the universe, with the greatest intensity of devotion, we give reverence unto her. May she grant us all welfare. Whose incomparable greatness and strength, the Lord of the universe, who creates, preserves, and dissolves the creation, is incapable to extol. May that Supreme Empress, she who tears apart thought, think to protect the entire gross world and destroy fear and impurity. Okay, and what is it that Christ's message came to tell people? Same thing, fear not. Fear not. Greater is He's within you than He's that's within the world. Depend on God. Have no fear. Go forward. Okay? She is the goddess of true wealth in the homes of virtuous souls, and is the misery of those who perform evil. Okay? She is intelligence in the hearts of the pure-minded, faith to the truthful, and humility to the truly noble. To that divine goddess we bow in reverence. You please protect the entire universe. So I'm going to read this one part again. She is the misery of those who perform evil. Okay? Now, if you're out there doing, degraded deeds, then of course you're not going to want to hear truth. You're going to fight against it tooth and nail. And you cannot win against truth in the end. Okay? How can we describe your inconceivable form or your uncanny behavior displayed in the battle between all the gods and thoughts, how you valiantly slew the thoughts and other evil ones? In the origin of all perceivable existence, you are the cause. Within you are the three qualities of nature: conception, activity, and rest. These three exist in you, but you have no connection with any of their defects. You are beyond the conception of the supreme consciousness and the great God and other gods. You are the support of all. This entire perceivable universe is only a portion of your being, because you are the imperceptible, primordial being, the supreme nature. O divine goddess, in all sacrifices you are the word Svaha. I am one with God. Moreover, you are performed by all people as oblations of ancestral praise, Svata, the cause of satisfaction to our ancestors. O Goddess, for those who seek realization, the inculcation of absolute freedom. Inconceivable are the great austerities to be performed, to be devoid of all defects, having the senses subdued, complying with the essence of the principles of truth. O Supreme Empress the Wise, who practice yearning for liberation, that ultimate knowledge of realization is you. Okay? You are the intrinsic nature of sound, and exceedingly pure as the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, and the Samaveda, with a special mode of pronunciation of songs in praise of the divine. You are the foundation. You are the three Vedas and the Supreme Empress. The generation and protection of the universe is the business which you manifest. You are the destroyer of fear and torment in the entire perceivable universe. Okay? Oh, Goddess, you are the energy of intelligence, by which the essence of all scriptures is understood. As the goddess who relieves afflictions, you are the boat which takes aspirants across the difficult sea of worldly thoughts, unbound by attachment. You manifest as the goddess of wealth in the heart of consciousness to do battle with the desires of want, and as the goddess of light to Lord Shiva, who wears the moon as a diadem. The smile on your face shines pure like the splendor of the full moon's reflection, or like excellent gold desirable as beauty enhanced by love. Yet still, after seeing that beauty, the great ego struck out in anger. This is a greatly incomprehensible act. O Goddess, it is even more incredulous still that the great ego did not quit his life immediately upon seeing your wrathful face, terrible with brows knit of reddish hue like the rising moon. For who can maintain his individual self upon seeing the ruler of dissolution? O Goddess, be gracious. When you are pleased as the intrinsic nature of the universal soul, the entire world enjoys welfare and prosperity. And when your anger is known, immediately the entire families of enmity are destroyed, as we have verified the moment when the great ego, with his extensive forces, met his demise. O you, who are the grantor of all welfare, those with whom you are pleased are certainly respected in their country. They are endowed with welfare, and their acts of wisdom and harmony do not perish. They are blessed by the devotion of their children, wives, and servants. So again, what do you give back? Wisdom and harmony. Okay? That's what comes out of completing the path. By your grace, O Goddess, the meritorious souls perform every day all the actions of spiritual discipline and righteous conduct with the greatest of faith and devotion, and thereby attain to heavenly perceptions. Are you not therefore the grantor of all fruit in the three worlds? O reliever of difficulties, remembering you, the fear of all living beings is dispelled. When remembered by those individuals in the harmony of spiritual growth, you increase their welfare and intelligence. Who is like you, O dispeller of poverty, pain, and fear, whose sympathetic demeanor always extends compassionate assistance to everyone? The entire cosmos is pleased by the destruction of this enmity. And even though all these ill-advised beings committed sins sufficient to warrant an infinite suffering in hell, nevertheless, let them attain to the realms of heaven by meeting their demise in the battle with me. Thinking thus, O goddess, certainly you destroy all enmity. Why is it that your one glance does not reduce all thoughts to ashes, so that being purified by the weapons, these thoughts may be raised to the higher worlds? You are so benevolent that you think for the welfare of even your enemies. And that's what remains. You care about, no matter who it is, no matter what they're doing, you still have this care for them, okay? Friend or foe, you would like to see their liberation, okay? If your sword's light and the foremost dazzling radiance from your pike did not blind the eyes of the thoughts, the reason was that they also saw the rays of light, like the glow of the moon, the giver of bliss in perceiving the vision of your beautiful face. O goddess, your inclination is to eradicate the faulty conduct of the wicked. Okay? So again, your inclination is to eradicate the faulty conduct of the wicked. With the vision of your form, no other concept may be contemplated, as no other similar exists. Hence, your strength and prowess in slaying these thoughts who were destroying the power of the gods. Thus you manifest your compassion to the enemies. O goddess, granter of wishes, with what can your valor be compared? You give fear to enemies with your excessive beauty. Where is a form beyond your own? Kindness in the heart and severity in battle. In all the three worlds, these two can only be seen in you. In slaying these enemies, you have protected the entire three worlds. By dying on the battlefield, these enemies have arrived in heaven, and you have dispelled all our fears of thoughts. We bow to you. O goddess, protect us with your spear. Mother of the universe, protect us with your sword. Protect us with the sound of your bell, and protect us with the twang of your bow string. Protect us in the east, protect us in the west. O you who tear apart thought, protect us in the south. Then rotate your spear and protect us in the north. In the three worlds there are forms of your exquisite beauty and others exceedingly frightful, which are conceived. With all of them protect us and protect the world. O Mother of the universe, protect us everywhere and every time with your sword, your spear, your club. Protect us on every side with every weapon that is in your lovely hands. Thus the gods sang praise to the Creator of the perceivable universe and worshipped her with flowers and perfume and other items in the garden of delight. When all united in the fullest heavenly devotion and offered incense and fragrances and food, then they all bowed to the goddess in obeisance and serene countenance. She spoke to them. The goddess says, I will grant you the fulfillment of your desire. The gods said, the Supreme Empress has fulfilled our every desire, and there is nothing that remains undone. Our enemy, the great ego, has been slain. O great seer of all, beyond that you desire to grant us a boon? On top of that, we've been liberated from ego, we've been liberated from errant thoughts, and you still want to give us more? Okay? Then whenever we will remember you, then there you will give us an intuitive vision and remove our greatest distress. Okay? So also you get this intuitiveness. Okay? There's an intuitiveness that comes. This is another boon that happens. Okay? And O Mother of the universe, whatever man praises you with these verses, may you increase his knowledge, prosperity, and greatness, as well as his other possessions in life. O Mother, always be pleased with us and grant us welfare and prosperity. O King, when the gods prayed for the welfare of themselves and the world, the Excellent One beyond time was pleased, and saying, "Let it be so," and vanished from sight. Your Highness, I have told you the story of how in times of old the goddess who desires the welfare of the three worlds was manifested from the bodies of the gods. And now, O virtuous soul, in like manner I shall narrate to you of her appearance from the body of the goddess of light, the slayer of the vicious thoughts, self-conceit, and self-deprecation, and the giver of assistance to the gods in order to protect all the worlds. Please listen to this entire episode being narrated by me. Hrim Om. Then it says the application, the meditation, bearing in her lotus hands the bell of continuous tone, the pike of concentration, the plow sowing the seeds of the way of truth to wisdom, the conch of vibrations, the pestle of refinement, the discus of revolving time, the bow of determination, and the arrow of speech, whose radiance is like the moon in autumn, whose appearance is most beautiful, who is manifested from the body of she who is rays of light, and is the support of the three worlds, that great goddess of all-pervading knowledge, who destroyed self-conceit and other thoughts. I worship. So when they say that the autumn moon, just reminds you that great big beautiful harvest moon that you see. In olden days, there were two thoughts, self-conceit and self-deprecation, who with the abundance of their excessive self-conceit robbed the rule of the pure, the husband of the power which rules and master of the three worlds, of a portion of sacrifice. Those who assumed the dominions of the light of wisdom and devotion, the Lord of wealth, the power of control, and the Lord of equilibrium, and made them subservient. So that's interesting, okay? Who became subservient by self-deprecation or the self-conceit? The Lord of wealth, the power of control, okay? And what do we continue to see? Those that are wealthy want to be in control. Self-conceit, okay? Conceited. I'm up there. I'm going to tell you. Same thing with the Republican thing. I hate to bring politics into it, but they say the elite should rule. Democrats are mob rule. We can't have that. We have to have the elite ruling. So let's go forward and see what it says. The effects of emancipation and the light of meditation were also removed. Okay? These two defeated the gods, assumed their authority, and spoiled the kingdom. And with disrespect, all the gods were put out of heaven. Having been thus insulted by the two great thoughts, the gods remembered the invincible goddess and thought of the boon the Mother of the universe gave to them, that in any time of adversity, if you remember me, Then there I will eradicate your every distress. Thinking thus, the gods went to the king of mountains, the Himalayas, and there began to extol the goddess, the Supreme Lord, the great measurement of the consciousness which pervades all. Consciousness that pervades all. We bow to the goddess, to the great goddess, to the energy of infinite goodness. At all times we bow. We bow to nature, to the excellent one. With discipline we have bowed down. To the reliever of sufferings we bow. To the eternal, to the embodiment of rays of light, to the creatress, to she who manifests light, to the form of devotion, to happiness, continually we bow. To the welfare of those who bow, we bow. To change, to perfection, to dissolution, to the wealth which sustains the earth, to the wife of consciousness, to you we bow, we bow. To she who removes difficulties, to she who removes beyond all difficulties, to the essence, to the cause of all, to perception and to the doer of all, to the unknowable one, continually we bow. To the extremely beautiful and the extremely fierce, we bow to her, we bow, we bow. We bow to the establishment, to the establisher of the perceivable universe, to the goddess, to all action, we bow, we bow. To the divine goddess in all existence, who is addressed as the perceivable form of consciousness which pervades all. Okay, so let's read that again. The perceivable form of the consciousness which pervades all. We bow. To her we bow. Continually we bow. To the divine goddess in all existence who resides all throughout the consciousness and is known by the reflections of mind. To her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of intelligence, we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of sleep, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of hunger, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of appearance, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of energy, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of desire, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of patient forgiveness, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of all living beings, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of humility, to her we bow. Now the one that's above that she resides in all existence in the form of all living beings, we bow. This is where comes namaste. Okay? God within me recognizes God within you. Namaste. You know, that we are equal. We are one. We are of the same consciousness. We are of that same light. We are of that same divine expression. Okay? So let's go forward. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of peace, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of faith, To her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of beauty enhanced by love, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of true wealth, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of activity, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of recollection, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of compassion, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of satisfaction, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of mother, to her we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of confusion, to her we bow. Presiding over the senses of all beings and pervading all existence, to the omnipresent goddess who individualizes creation, we bow. In the form of consciousness, she distinguishes the individual phenomena of the perceivable universe. We bow. In the days of old, all of the gods led by Indra, the ruler of the pure, sang these verses of praise for the purpose of accomplishing their desired objective of surrendering the ego in the light of wisdom. And for many days that service was rendered. May she, the seer of all, the Lord of all, the source of all good, perform similarly for us all auspicious things by putting an end to all distress. We gods have been harassed by arrogant thoughts in the manner of men, and at this time all of us gods bow to the seer of all, who when bowed to with devotion and remembered in a physical image immediately terminates our every adversity. The Rishi says, Your Highness, just as the gods were singing that hymn of praise, the goddess of nature came there to bathe in the Ganges. That supreme empress with beautiful eyebrows asked the gods, Whose praise is being sung here? Then from within herself an auspicious form manifested and said, Self-conceit and self-deprecation, two terrible thoughts, have defeated the gods and insulted them, and so all the gods have collected here and are singing my praise. And as the mother of the universe emerged from within, goddess of nature, she is known in all the worlds as she who comes from within. After the manifestation of she who comes from within, the body of nature became dark and consequently became a goddess who dwells in the Himalayas, distinguished as the remover of darkness. Thereafter, two servants of self-conceit and self-deprecation, named Passion and Anger, came and saw the extremely beautiful form worn by the Mother of the Universe. So this is interesting. The servants of self-conceit and self-deprecation are passion and anger. Okay? And so what comes out of those? Jealousy, passion, and anger out of self-conceit or self-deprecation. Okay? You get passion and anger. Then self-conceit was told by them, O great king, there is an excessively beautiful woman whose heavenly beauty is illuminating the Himalayas. Such an excellent form no one has ever before beheld. O Lord of Thought, please find out who that goddess is and take her. Of all women, she is a jewel. Her every limb is beautiful, and the radiant splendor of her body is illuminating all directions. She is present there. You should see her. Lord of the three worlds, jewels, gems, elephants, horses, the best all shine in your house. Of elephants you have the jewel, love for all, taken from the rule of the pure. Of trees, the tree of life. Of horses, the horse of wisdom, the most wonderful carrier, yoked to the swans of union through the control of the breath, which before was the Lord of creation, now has been brought here and shines in your courtyard, is a jewel of its kind. Of the 9 treasures, the Lord of wealth, you have taken the great lotus of peace, and the ocean has given you a garland of fine lotuses, which never lose their luster. The umbrella of the Lord of equilibrium, which causes gold to flow, stands in your house, but also the chosen chariot which belonged to the Creator of beings. From death you have taken supreme energy, known as moving beyond, and your brother has taken possession of the shining net of the Lord of fluctuation. And of the beings born of the sea, self-deprecation has taken the most excellent jewels. The divine fire himself purified 2 garments and presented them to you. And so, O Lord of thought, of all the jewels you have taken the best and the most excellent, and of all the women the finest jewel is the goddess of welfare. Why don't you bring her to your house? Steal her as well. You've stolen all these other ones, you might as well steal her as well. Okay? After hearing the words of passion and anger, self-conceit, sent he who appears to be a friend, Okay, so he's sending a deceptive one, a great thought, as an ambassador to the goddess. He commanded him, explain all this to her with sweet words, so that being pleased she'll quickly come. Okay, so we're going to deceive her. Go deceive her. Okay. Then the ambassador went to that very beautiful area in the mountains where the goddess was seated and spoke in tender words like honey. O goddess, the king of thought, self-conceit, is the Lord of the three worlds. I have been sent as his ambassador to come to you. Now, I don't think if anybody came and said they were the ambassador of self-conceit, he's going to induce me to go there, okay? But let's look and see what they think their honeyed words are going to get them. All of the gods have been defeated by him, okay? He's all that in a bag of chips. And all obey his commands. No one can violate this order. Listen to the message he sends to you. The entire three worlds are under my authority. And all the gods obey my every command. I personally enjoy the share of every sacrifice. Okay? So this is what you get when you're overtaken by self-conceit. Okay? All the finest jewels in the three worlds are under my authority, and I have taken the jewel of elephants, the carrier of God, the rule of the pure, the jewel of horses, the horse of wisdom, which was produced from the beginning of creation. The gods have surrendered to my feet. O beautiful one, beyond that, as many beautiful jewels that belong to the gods or the heavenly beings, or to the swiftly proceeding, they all shine with me. O goddess, we consider you to be the jewel of all women in the creation. Therefore, you come to us because we are the enjoyer of all jewels. Okay? It's all mine. Whatever I want should be mine, and I want you, so you need to be here now. Go. You of inconstant gaze, come and serve me and my extremely valiant brother's self-deprecation, because you're the very essence of jewels. By fulfilling my wish, you will achieve great glory. Oh, you're going to be so fortunate to be with me. Is this like the ultimate narcissist here? Now we use your intelligence to decide if you want to be my wife. Then the goddess, the excellent supreme empress, she who removes difficulties thoughtfully, tranquilly, gently smiling, gave her reply. And the goddess says, well, all that you have said is true without a particle of falsehood. Self-conceit is the master of the three worlds, as is equally the valiant self-deprecation. But in this matter, because of my small intelligence, I have already undertaken an oath which I cannot be untrue. So please listen. Whoever will defeat me in the battle, whoever will lose his self-conceit in me, whoever will see all the force of the universe in me, he will be my husband. So you return to self-conceit and self-deprecation, great thoughts. When they conquer me, I will marry. What's the necessity of delay? Okay, the ambassador said, Goddess, your pride is very great to speak like that to me. In the three worlds, there is not a man who can stand against self-conceit or self-deprecation. Goddess, all of the gods cannot challenge the thoughts in battle. What merit have you, as you're alone and merely a woman? Okay, if the rule of the pure and all the other gods could not stand up to self-conceit in battle, how will you, a woman, go forth to battle? Therefore, you go to self-conceit and self-deprecation because of what I have said. In this way, you will protect your dignity. Otherwise, when you will be grabbed by the hair and dragged, you will lose honor. Okay? So the sweet words didn't work, so now we're going to try to dominate you. Okay? And narcissists do this, okay? If they don't get one way, they're going to try another way. So let's see what we have going forward. What you say is correct. Self-conceit is very strong, and self-deprecation too is a valiant warrior. But what can I do? Without thinking, I have made this promise. Now you go, just as I have told you, and explain fully to the King of Thought, and let him do what he thinks is proper. So we come to the next part. Om Rishi. And the Rishi says, after listening to the words of the goddess, the ambassador became very angry, and returning to the King of Thought, gave a detailed explanation. Okay? Hearing the report of the ambassador, the King of Thought became indignant, and with great anger, he called a thought named Sinful Eyes. Okay? Not a surprise. Okay? Hey, Sinful Eyes, you go quickly, taking your army and grabbing that one by the hair and drag her here. And if anyone stands up to defend her, be he God or semi-divine being or celestial being, certainly you will kill him. Well, receiving the command from self-conceit, sinful eyes, along with the army of 60,000 thoughts, immediately proceeded. Okay, so now we're going to have the dirty mind out there, progressing. Okay, again, not a surprise. Arriving there, he saw the goddess seated upon the Himalayas and defiantly shouted, "Enemy! You go to self-conceit and self-deprecation. If you won't go lovingly to the side of my master right now, then I'll grab you by the hair and forcibly drag you there." The goddess says, well, you've been sent by the king of thought, and you yourself are extremely mighty. Along with you is a great army. In this condition, if you take me by force, what can I do? After the goddess answered thus, that thought sinful eyes attacked, and with the pronunciation of the mantra Hum, the mother of the universe reduced him to ashes. Okay. Then in great anger, that immense army of thoughts and the mother of the universe began to exchange a rain of arrows, energies, and battle axes. Okay. In all of this, the carrier of the goddess, the lion, shaking his mane in excessive rage with a frightful roar, jumped into the army of thoughts. Some thoughts died. So they remember the lion is courage. So courage jumps in there. Some thoughts died from the striking of his paws, others from his jaws. Still other great thoughts were trampled by his hind legs and died from their wounds. So you stand up with courage, okay, and take down this type of drama. Striking with his claws, so many stomachs he tore open, so many heads he severed from their bodies. So many arms and heads he cut while shaking his mane, splitting open the stomachs of some thoughts that lions suck the blood. Excessively angry, the carrier of the goddess, that extremely forceful lion, in but a moment annihilated that entire army of thoughts. When the king of thought heard that the goddess killed sinful eyes, and that her lion eradicated the entire army, he became very angry. His lower lip trembled with rage, and he gave a command to passion and anger. Oh, can you see him over there? Hey, passion, hey, anger. Take a great army and grab that goddess by the hair, and binding her, quickly bring her here. And if there is any doubt in bringing her, then you fight with all your weapons and with the entire army thoughts and wound her. And after wounding that naughty one and her lion, you bind that mother of universe and you return with her quickly. Let's go forward. I meditate upon the goddess Matangi, the embodiment of the mother, sitting upon a throne of jewels. She is listening to the sweet sounds of parrots. The color of her body is dark, and she has one foot resting upon a lotus, and she wears a half moon on her head. Okay, so let's go forward. Matangi. In adherence to the command of self-deceit, passion, and anger set forth, with 4 divisions of their army of thoughts, well adorned with weapons and armor. On a high peak in the golden mountains, they saw the goddess sitting on her lion, smiling with delight. Seeing her, the thoughts made ready to capture her. Some took up their bows and some raised their swords. Some collected around the goddess and began to fight. Then the Mother of the Universe became very angry with those attackers, and her face turned dark with rage. The eyebrows were scowling, and from her frowning forehead appeared the remover of darkness, with a terribly frightening face, who was holding a sword and a net in her hands. Okay. She wore a leopard skin garment and a garland of human skulls. Her flesh had withered, and she appeared as a skeleton of bones and very fierce. She displayed fantastic missiles of consciousness. Okay. Her mouth was immense, and she brandished her tongue as a sword, which caused great fear. Her eyes were penetrating and somewhat red, and her fearful roar was humming in all directions. The remover of darkness killed many great thoughts, and after destroying an army of thoughts in great haste, she began to eat them all. She picked up elephants with one hand, put them in her mouth, together with their protectors, the driver with his goats, soldiers, and bells. In the same way she took warriors, horses, chariots with their charioteers, the entire cavalry of thoughts, and put them into her mouth and hideously began to chew. Some thoughts she grabbed by the hair, others she crushed at the throat, still others she trampled by her feet, and others she killed by a stroke to the breast. She picked up the great weapons of that army in her mouth, and in fearful anger she ground them with her teeth. She trampled that entire army of thoughts, the wicked thoughts. She ate them all, and others she fiercely beat. Some fell by the blade of her sword. Some were beaten by the missiles of consciousness, and some were crushed to death by her formidable teeth. In this way, that entire army of thoughts was killed in a moment. Seeing this, passion attacked that excessively fearful remover of darkness. Also that great thought, anger, rained his extremely terrible arrows and hurled 1,000 discuses against the fearful-eyed goddess. Those discuses entering into her mouth shone as a halo of light of the sun absorbed in many clouds. Then with a fearful roar, the remover of darkness laughed furiously, her teeth radiantly gleaming in her fierce mouth. Then the goddess, mounting upon the lion, seized Passion by the hair, and with a broad sword she cut off his head. Seeing the death of Passion, Anger attacked the goddess. Then in terrible anger, stabbing him with her sword, she laid him to rest on the ground. And the remaining army, seeing the death of the terribly valiant Passion and Anger, were overcome with fear, and they ran away. Thereafter, the remover of darkness took the heads of Passion and Anger in her hands and brought them to she who tears apart thought, and spoke with her with a great laugh. I present you 2 great beasts, Anger and Passion. Now in the war of sacrifice, you yourself will kill self-conceit and self-deprecation. Seeing the heads of the 2 great thoughts, Passion and Anger, brought there, the goddess of welfare, she who tears apart thought, in sweet words said to the remover of darkness, since you have brought me the heads of Passion and Anger, therefore you will be known in all the worlds as the slayer of Passion and Anger. So who's the slayer of Passion and Anger? Chamunda. Okay, Chamunda. So we're going to leave this here, and tomorrow we will continue with part 3. Okay. So passion and anger, and you look at Chamunda, you look at her, she's the withered looking one. Okay. Who can have passion with that? Okay. It's kind of old, looking decrepit, bag of bones, yeah. So Chamunda. Anyway, on that note, let me know what you think, and we'll continue forward tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.